President Biden told Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, how can you trust anybody who has Yahoo in their name, that the U.S. wouldn't join Israel in any offensive action against Iran. Multiple media outlets have reported. U.S. officials are touting Israel's defense of Iran's attack as a victory. And that's the message Biden conveyed to Netanyahu, a sign the U.S. doesn't want the situation to escalate.
So pretend you won this round and don't do anything because I'm running for office, right?
Iran fired. So, yeah, that's right. So Israel really came out far ahead in this exchange. It took out the IRGC. So when they went and bombed that embassy in Syria, Iran tried to respond, and Israel clearly demonstrated its military superiority, defeating this attack, particularly in coordinating with its partners. That's what a senior Biden administration told me. So they want to make it look like Israel won, even though they lost.
Well, they have to. That way you can give Israel a way to not
save
cause
face.
World War III,
Right.
because we're not going to help with that, I hope.
Biden said he would convene with the other G7 leaders to coordinate a united diplomatic response to Iran's brazen attack. Israel, they claim they shot down 97% of the bombs. Some missiles got through and damaged the Nevada. So we talked about this with Scott Ritter. Iran won this. Iran showed that they were able to bomb Israel's most guarded military base in the world, the most guarded military base in the world.
With our stuff in it.
With the United States, they were able to bomb it. And they did it easily. Iran even gave them 72 hours notice that they were getting ready to bomb these bases, and they were able to bomb them. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Yes, there it is.
With some of the lowest tech missiles that they have in their arsenal.
Yeah, they're old stuff.
The stuff that Russia didn't even want. Right? They tried to give Russia these missiles for the war in Ukraine, and Russia's like, no, we're good. We don't need those missiles. But so this was a big loss for. So that's why, and Joe Biden, I think he doesn't want Israel to go on the offensive.
Why would he want that?
It's not good for anybody.
They've been screwing him, and they've been stabbing him in the back for how long now?
Right.
That the day MSNBC did that, that's when we saw
when MSNBC turned on Israel.
They're sick of Netanyahu. Yeah.
Tehran is also warning that it's going to launch an even bigger attack if Israel responds. If the Zionist regime or its supporters demonstrate reckless behavior, they will receive a decisive and much stronger response. And they can't. While the U.S. is signaling it seeks de-escalation and won't support, it's unclear what Israel will do next.
Why is it unclear since they depend on us? Why would that be unclear? That's the thing I can't believe.
That's what I can't believe either.
It seems like we could tell them to do whatever the hell, and they would have to do it.
And they would have to do it.
Yeah.
Israel has maybe 3 million people of military age. Iran has 40-some million people of military age.
And nice missiles, apparently, that can go right through your dumb iron dome.
And by the way, this whole war has been screwing Israel's economy.
They're not winning.
They're not winning.
Good.
This is bad. But there's a lot of people, most of the people in government, I think like Netanyahu. So what you're saying, and Jackson, this is all true. So, I mean, if Joe Biden really wanted to stop Israel from escalating this, he could. Because if Israel escalates this and the United States doesn't help them, they're fucked.
Well, the problem is that we've sent them so many missiles and bombs and even, nukes, although that's the dirty little secret for decades now, that it doesn't really matter, because if Israel wants to, they can strike deep inside Iran, and that will provoke likely a regional war. And then the U.S. has already now said that they're going to defend Israel, which would draw them into the war. And Netanyahu, I don't think he really believes that he can defeat Hezbollah and Iran and Hamas and the Houthis now too, and Syria, because they participated in these strikes. But he understands that to keep his political career and his legacy going at a time when the U.S. wants him out, they want someone who's going to be more liberal and tame in there. The only way he can do that is if he continues the war and gets more U.S. funding and weapons. And this is seemingly his only path to do that.
So is your guess he's going to do that? Scott Ritter was nervous that Netanyahu is a psychopath and he will do this.
Well, today they came out and they said they said, well, we're considering options. We're either, it's like the extremes. They said we're either going to strike deep inside Iran, or we're going to do a cyber attack. So it sounds like, Israel may be holding this over the heads of Western states and might be saying, be careful with your ideas of not sending us more funding. They're using this as a tool of negotiation, maybe, as to what they could do versus the limited capability attack they could carry out.
Well,
I don't know.
Israeli War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz vowed Israel would sounds like a boxing manager. Benny Gantz vowed Israel would respond, but signaled it wouldn't be imminent. He said that even the event is not over, and that Israel should build a regional coalition and exact a price from Iran in a way and at a time that suits us.
So they backing down then?
So it sounds like they're backing down. The White House Security Council spokesman John Kirby said Biden also told Netanyahu that the United States is going to continue to help Israel defend itself, signaling the U.S. would intervene again to help Israel if it does choose to escalate the situation and comes under another attack. Israel's bombing of the Iranian consulate in Syria killed 13 people, including 7 members of the IRGC. Israel has a history of conducting covert attacks inside Iran and killing Iranians in Syria, but the bombing of the diplomatic facility marked a huge escalation. So I guess we still have to worry about World War III, is what you're saying, Jackson?
I mean, Israel's never had an attack like this in its history. For Iran to do this was a big statement. And obviously there was no casualties besides that one child who I believe was killed in Jordan. So Jordan sacrificed one of their own lives for Israeli lives. But I think the concerning thing is Israel went to the United Nations and tried to feign outrage, and they tried to take the diplomatic route. And they thought they'd win sympathy and support from world leaders, but literally no one condemned Iran. Russia didn't. China didn't. None of the potential individuals who could have condemned them did. They all said they support Iran. So I think Israel's probably upset by that. And who knows what we'll see happen here. If the previous 6 months are any indication, it would be that Netanyahu is going to do something crazy.
Well, they got to hide it from their own population too, right? Because he was saying it's got rid of the punk ass population is going to flee right out of the country.
That's right.
Once it's obvious they have zero protection from the Iron Dome, which they have none.
Which they don't have. They don't. That Iron Dome is all a fallacy.
Yeah, you should probably get out of Israel if you live in Israel. That's what I would say.
And they were saying that. I bet you a lot of people are going to flee Israel.
Iran has. The U.S., we spend $1 trillion on our military. We still haven't developed the metal alloy needed for a hypersonic missile. Iran has hypersonic missiles that can travel to Tel Aviv in 400 seconds.
We don't have those kind of missiles?
We don't have that?
We do not have hypersonic missiles. North Korea just unveiled their first hypersonic missile this week, and the U.S. still does not have it.
How could that be?
How could that possibly be?
So the Tic Tac was not a thing we have. It's a UFO.
We don't have it. All those countries are obviously allies, so I'm sure they share the whatever sort of metal compound composite that you need to produce it. But the U.S. has failed to produce that.
That's big news. I didn't know that.
I mean, there's probably money in continuing to produce these hypersonic missiles and then be like, whoops, that one failed too. Let's make another one. There's probably money in that. It's all a money grab.
How do you know this?
I mean, that's the U.S. I mean, all these countries are proud of their hypersonic missiles, and the U.S. always says when they fail their hypersonic missile tests. So it's public information.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Jackson, the Hair Hinkle, everybody check him out on Twitter. It's the last place. Oh, and Rumble. He's on Rumble.
We're on Rumble. We're on Rumble.
So check him out on Rumble and Twitter. Go and give him. So he'd like to pocket 97% of $3 a month.
What are you going to bet all your outrage about?
Pocket some of your money.
A newspaper that put out a fake rape story.
Using
an Israeli family who did not consent to that.
That's right. Talk about trying to build on outrage. Anyway, that's the irony of that whole thing. Anyway, Jackson, thanks for coming on. Everybody check out Jackson on Twitter and Rumble.
Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Okay, bye-bye. Come see us on tour. We're going to be in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, Cortland, New York, Oakmont, Pennsylvania, El Paso, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, Vancouver, British Columbia. First show sold out. Denver, Colorado, Ashland, Virginia, Athens, Georgia, and Minneapolis. We're coming back to Minneapolis. If you couldn't get tickets last time, there'll be some available this time. We're doing 2 shows. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.